Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel, and welcome back to Mountain Valley Farm. And a special welcome back to Mountain Valley Farm episode number 10. Thank you all so much for coming back for another episode. We're going to zip down to town and check out something. I just got off the phone a few minutes ago. I have been busy working here on the farm today. This is basically the second game day of mid-spring, so the last game day of this particular mid-spring. And tomorrow, the game day tomorrow will basically be the first day of late spring. And so off camera, I went ahead and seeded the larger field, the larger of the two remaining fields that we have there up top with canola. And when we get back from this little adventure here, we will most likely seed the smaller field, the smaller remaining field with canola as well, and then go ahead and fertilize both of those down. And so, just to kind of recap from the previous episode, you guys know that I'm on vacation, so I'm sure that I'm out for a really nice hike now, or well, I guess depending on when you're watching it. If you watch this at immediately after 6 a.m. when I release it, I'm probably still going to be sleeping. But at some course today, I hope to be out hiking, hopefully watching maybe some moose, trying to find some moose on the western side of Rocky Mountain National Park. Anyway, so I just got off the phone a few minutes ago with our county extension agent here, and I had been inquiring on how to gain access to the piece of land, the strip piece of land that basically goes around the left-hand side of the map here. So basically, we own, with the exception of the downtown area, we own and have access to everything that is on the right, that is on the inside, inner portion of the road here. But we don't own everything on the outer portion of the road. And so basically, I telephoned the county to find out how we might gain access to this. And he basically filled me in and told me that we could certainly have access to this land. We just need to come in here behind the diner like this, and let me just kind of check this out and see exactly how we can go about doing this. I'm just going to basically park here, and we're going to get out and survey things by foot. Now, he did tell me it might be impossible unless we excavated some of this area to get some stuff back here, and I can see that that is true. So essentially, we're going to need to be working over here. He did say that we should have plenty of width here to bring a tractor, a mower, a baler, trailer, um, tedder, rake, all that kind of stuff back here. So this is the plan that we're going to basically do, is if we need this. Now this is basically a big if, and sort of if with a question mark, because we do have quite a bit of grass in the inner portion of the loop that I have sort of showed you all. My apologies for that. That I had showed you all on the inner side of the loop, the inner side of the road. But this area here is going to be quite nice, and I'm not going to drive through here because I don't want to trample the grass. But there are some wide open spots, and even if there are some trees like you see right here, not to worry. We would probably start mowing maybe beyond these trees, or maybe not. I don't know. But even if we could just get maybe 2 or 3 passes with the tractor, or maybe like 2 passes with the tractor down through there, and then be able to rake that up, that is going to be a considerable amount of grass, hay, or grass for silage purposes. So I think that that's going to work out quite well. I was a little worried because I like to have some insurance, if you will, on just making sure that we're going to have enough grass to get through the season. Not really sure, how many times we can expect to cut grass here on this map. I am sort of erring on the side uh, of caution here, from the sense that, well, I would really rather wait instead of getting in here and cutting grass today. I would rather err on the side of caution and wait just a day or two. Probably one day, probably do our first cutting tomorrow during tomorrow's game day. Um, And so I don't know if that'll be the next episode or not. We're just going to have to kind of see how it all pans out. And but you'll be the you'll be the second to know, right? All right, so let's go ahead and get back to the main farm. That's going to work out quite well. And of course, since we can't get back over here, the only way we could get to this portion would be to go all the way around. And I haven't really put my eyeballs on that yet to see if there's any obstacles and everything, but we won't worry about that. We'll go the other direction and we'll just take what we need, and that's all that we'll do. We won't take anything. There's no need to cut grass or make hay and everything if we don't necessarily need it, because we're not necessarily needing it for the money situation at all. So we may find ourselves that we may just have plenty of grass and hay and silage to support our operation from what we can get from the inside, from the inner loop of the land, and not have to go out here on this piece of it. Now, I also talked with the county extension agent about possibly planting trees in there. That is perfectly fine with them if we want to plant some trees in that portion as well. So that might help out as well as we sort of replenish some of the 300 trees that we took out. I'm really glad that the county put that light pole right there, because that's a good indicator of when I need to turn in to get back to my farm. So here we are back at the main farm that you guys have seen multiple times. We'll go ahead and drive back this direction here, and our tractor is back here. And I just wanted to go check that out to see how all that was going to work out. So this is the piece of field here, a piece of land that I went ahead and seeded in canola. So I tell you what, we'll park right over here. All right. Hope you all are having a wonderful day, by the way. And I hope you all are still enjoying the videos, and I hope you're all okay with the schedule and all that kind of stuff. It's about the best that I can do right now under the circumstances. And actually, I'm kind of even struggling. I'll be honest. I'm kind of even struggling on getting some of these videos made for you before I'm out on vacation, just because we've got quite a bit of stuff going on. As far as let me lift that cedar up. We've got quite a bit of stuff going on, getting the house ready, getting just sort of everything ready. My wife, God bless her, I love her to death, but she just, there's a lot of things that she just wants to get done, and well, I'm pretty much the one that's got to do it all. So we're gonna get everything done, and we're gonna be on our nice mountain relaxing vacation here as you guys are watching these videos. And it was something that I wanted to do, as far as being able to get videos out to you, just simply because I didn't want to have a week without videos for you guys to watch, and I wanted to try to maintain the 3 videos, the three video days schedule. And so hopefully I'm going to be able to get that done. Now, as I record this video, this is going to be the video that you're going to watch on Monday. Let's see, what is that? Monday the 3rd of July. So if for whatever reason, if on Wednesday the 5th there's nothing for you to watch, or even on Friday the 7th, then you just understand that I just got really busy sort of at the last minute, and didn't get a chance to record. So I hope that you'll understand and be okay with that. And I'm not going anywhere, but it's just kind of hard for me to predict. I'm actually recording this video on Monday evening, Monday the 26th, and got a little bit of time to get down here and do this, and we'll get this all edited and rendered and uploaded and everything for you to watch on that Monday. So by now you guys have heard about the expansion, the platinum expansion pack that Giants will be releasing very soon. I say soon, November. So that's really not soon, especially when you consider, for those of us in the northern hemisphere, we're not even to the dog days of summer yet. That long grind. Well, I guess some of you are, but here in Colorado, that long grind of summer days is sort of I sort of consider that to be between the 4th of July holiday and Labor Day, just simply because that is, roughly 60 days, almost 2 months of work between holidays, and it's just a long, slow grind for me, and I'm typically pretty busy during the summer months with projects. We've got a major office remodel that's going on here in my office here in Denver, and while I need to be very careful about that, while I don't have a lot of direct responsibilities, it's mostly real estate and facilities that's doing a lot of the work. It is going to impact a couple of my labs that I operate here in Denver, and so that is going to mean having to move some equipment around and do some things like that. So that'll all sort of be coming up in the summer months. But anyway, in the fall, in November the 14th, I think is the date. Go out and check it for yourself, but I'm sort of recalling from memory here. But November the 14th, Giants will release their platinum expansion pack. Now it's kind of funny because if I remember correctly, in FS15, in FarmSim 15, the expansion pack that came out in the October-November timeframe of what would have been 2015, I suppose, was, I believe, the gold expansion pack. So for some of you folks that have been around the FarmSim scene for quite a while, dating back to at least FarmSim 13, was that expansion pack called silver? I'm just kind of curious if Giants is kind of running through the precious metals here, and what we could expect for FarmSim 19. Are we talking about the titanium pack at that point, or is there another precious metal somewhere between platinum and titanium, or is platinum above titanium? I don't know. Anyway, I digress. But that's going to be coming out. That's going to be actually quite cool, and I've got to say, my hat's off to Giants for sort of reaching out to a audience that they have not necessarily targeted before, especially with anything official, and that is the South American market. Now I know that there may be some European gamers and stuff that may be having their feelings hurt just slightly, and I don't mean any disrespect to you at all, but it's good that Giants is reaching out to an audience that's other than German, other than European, and even other than American, because farming exists all around the world, and the different aspects, the different ways that things are farmed, the different crop types that are farmed, and of course, like I said, the different ways that these things are done is something that is unique as you span the globe. And so it is cool that they're reaching out and welcoming in a different sort of a different target audience, and so that's going to be quite cool. So we're going to as part of the expansion pack, and I just need to grab a screenshot here, hold one moment. All right, and as I was saying, with that expansion pack obviously will come some new equipment, to I believe harvest sugar cane is the new crop that we're going to see in FarmSim 17 Platinum expansion pack, and then of course there'll be the South American farm. So that's actually very, very cool. And again, hats off to Giants. I am of course, I don't expect, and we don't know what other changes could come. I think that there may be some people that might be perhaps a little bit wishful thinking on their part by thinking that all of a sudden, Farm Sim 17 is going to have this major overhaul to include things that we've sort of been dreaming about, like, seasons and all that kind of stuff. Well, we've got the seasons mod for Farm Sim 17, and I think that's going to suffice our needs from a seasonal farming aspect throughout the 17 series. Hopefully Giants will incorporate seasons, or consider incorporating seasons in Farm Sim 19. But of course, we won't see Farm Sim 19 for, basically a year and 4 months or so from now. But anyway, I digress again. Um, I think that while we don't necessarily know all the things that'll come to Farm Sim 17 through the Platinum expansion pack, I don't envision that there will be any sort of major overhaul of the game. I think that we will see the new equipment. Obviously, I think that we will see um, essentially a new map. I think that we will see things like that. Maybe we might see some fixes or things if there's been something that's sort of been plaguing Farm Sim 17, this particular version, then we might see some of those things get fixed. I don't know. But I don't think that we will see any sort of major revamp and overhaul and functional changes with the game. We're just sort of stuck with what we've got for now. Where I'm sort of going with this conversation is I really am impressed with the fact that, you know, the Giants sort of stepped away from the traditional German European um, map, and everything in the expansion, and they have targeted an audience that, that they haven't necessarily targeted before, and that is, South America. And so I think that's actually quite cool, that they did that. And I've got to say that I think that, as far as maybe what I might have said several weeks ago, several months ago, thinking about how that cattle and crops was really going to cut into Giants. Of course, I don't know. I'm still not pleased. I'm still highly disappointed with cattle and crops. I will be honest with you. I'm just I was so I think that, I think I had my expectations set just very, very high, and I will admit that, cattle and crops was the first time that I've ever done any sort of crowdfunding um, process for a video game. Now I've done crowdfunding for other things, but this was the first time that I had actually done any sort of crowdfunding early access for a video game. Now I've participated in plenty of beta type game projects, and of course I work in the IT world, so I'm used to doing and using things that are still considered beta. Um, and so I understand all the significances of all of that, what all that means, how all that, the expectations and the things that you just have to kind of understand, because it's still a work in progress, it's still beta. I get all of that, um, but this was the first time that I had participated in in a crowdfunding situation for a game, for a piece of software. And I really have to admit that I think I had my expectations set way higher than what they probably should have been set. And I think as a result, when I first got access to cattle and crops, just on the same day that many others got access to it, and I went in, I really thought that, okay, I knew that it was going to be somewhat limited on what we could do with the game, but I at least thought that things like controller support, as an example, would be baked into the game. So in other words, what the game would consist of from the aspect of controller support from basically day one would all be there, would all be ready to go. And I just, I spent a lot of time, quite honestly, I wasted a lot of time uh, fiddling around with trying to get my controllers to work in the original version of Cattle and Crops. And every time I would shut the game down and go back in, the settings were messed up. I would have to kind of go back through it and do it again. And I finally just got to a point where I said, um, life is just too short. This is a hobby. This is, my efforts of putting YouTube videos out there is an extension of my hobby. And while I like very much, and the reason why I do this, is for you all. Well, that's not the sole reason, but the reason why I do this is to help others, is to showcase others. And I sort of felt bad for a portion of that day, because I thought, well, gosh, I probably should try to crack this. I should probably try to figure out what the heck is going on. So, because there'll be others that will probably run into the same situation, into the same problems that I'm running into. And if I can figure this out, then I can be helpful to others. But at the end of the day, I'm just like, I'm weighing and I'm trying to balance. Okay, what makes the most sense for me? I'm really getting sort of stressed out with this. I'm sort of feeling like I could, I could definitely have some words if a Cattle and Crops developer were to basically step in the room. I would definitely have some complaints and maybe even utter the words, "I want my money back," kind of situation. But in any event, I'm going to just sort of sit on the sidelines for now. I'm going to wait and see what comes from Cattle and Crops sort of after I get back from vacation. I've just got way too much to do, and I want to get these videos made and everything for you guys, so that you will have them while I am on vacation. And whenever I get back from vacation, then I will take a look and see what has basically transpired on the Cattle and Crops forums, and if there's an update, if there's anything that will be beneficial both to me and obviously to you as well, then I'll certainly take a look at that. And again, if it's something that I can figure out, and if they've got the controller support better equipped, then obviously that will be a good thing. Simply put, and I'll be quite honest with you, if they don't fix the controller support issue, I am not going to play the game. I am not going to play the game with keyboard and mouse. I am just not going to do that. I don't. To me, that is just not fun. And I've got an investment in my Logitech G27 steering wheel and pedals and all that kind of stuff. And while I have an investment in Cattle and Crops, I participated in the crowdfunding and everything based on the fact that they were going to be able to support third-party controllers, third-party hardware. I mean, that's every other game out there does that, and does it quite well, and does it even though I complain, and I'm probably one of the biggest complainers about the lack of controller support in Farm Sim going back to 15 and then even in 17. I will just say that it is far better than what they have in Cattle and Crops. So come on, chickie. They just will. If wherever you want to be, it's kind of like a cat. And you guys know I love. We don't have any cats. If you're new to the channel, then you may know that we sort of we lost our cats a few years ago to a very terrible disease called dysautonomia, and my wife and I are still very much sort of devastated and hurt from that, even though it's been coming up on 3 years since they, or maybe 4 years since they passed. But it's wherever you want to be, wherever you are, you're trying to do something. If you've got cats and you know that they're going to be right under your feet and they're going to be trying to do what you want to do with them. So let me just kind of bring everyone up to speed here as far as a recap of things of what we've done, what we've got going on, and all that kind of stuff here on the farm. Let me just go ahead and shut that engine off. So we have essentially everything up top here, what I continue to refer to as the upper farm area. We've got 4 fields up here. We've got this field right over there that you're looking at, that is our wheat field. The field over in the corner right over there in the back corner, that is barley. And then we've got 2 fields of canola. I went ahead and planted 2 fields of canola because, well, as you know, the yield on canola is not as high, is not as large as some of the other crops. So we've got our 2 fields there. Now comes the decision, and we're not going to make that decision today, right now, at this very instant. But the decision does need to more or less come to determine what we plant down below in the 2 fields that we purchased, fields 1 and 2 that you see there in the mini map. So if I look at our forecast, we've got highs tomorrow of 64, 62, sunny both days. So these 2 days, Friday and Saturday, are the 2 game days of late spring. So then if I bring up this screen here, we need to have a minimum soil temperature of 50 degrees for for soybeans, 45 for sunflowers, 50 for corn. So even if we were going to plant corn, we would have to wait. So I'm thinking soybeans is going to be what we're going to put down there. It's kind of what I've had in my back of my mind the entire time. But where we're going to be able to plant those, I doubt very seriously if we're going to be able to plant those in days 5 or 6. It's probably going to be the first day of summer that we're going to have that 50-degree soil temperature. Now, I could be wrong. We could have, Mother Nature could be on our side, and we could increase our soil temperature by 9 degrees. Right now, it's at 41 degrees, which is perfectly fine for canola and for wheat and for barley and those items. But we do need that to come up 9 degrees to 50 degrees. We're not going to take a risk of putting those seeds in the ground if they're any less than 50. So so that brings us to sort of a decision point. We could sort of temporarily, abandon our seeding efforts. Basically, we've got everything done up here. We're going to put whatever we plant down below is going to be the same in those fields. And I'm trying to avoid having to buy another header for the combine. So that's kind of why I'm thinking about soybeans. Um, so most likely what we will do in game days 5 and 6, or a portion of game days 5 and 6, is probably do our grass work, our first cutting, try to get our first cutting done. So we will, be mowing. We will be mowing for both grass, a portion of grass. We can't keep grass any longer than just a couple of days because it will rot and disappear. We have actually some grass in our forage wagon here, so we probably only need a little bit more, fill them up, fill the animals up, maybe fill up the forage wagon, and that'll probably be all. We probably won't mess with grass bells per se. And then there's the hay, and then of course we'll cut grass and bale it for silage purposes. So we've got that to do. So that's most likely what we will be doing coming up next. And I'm not sure, I think that's going to be after my vacation. I think that's when I'll be recording those episodes, I do believe. So I think maybe if I understand my schedule correctly, if I can read my own notes, I think I might be done with farm sim videos before vacation. So I don't know. We'll have to see. I'll put my eyes back on that later and see what we need to do, what we need to get done, and everything. So with that said, I am going to close out this video just maybe a minute or two early for you, and just wish you all a very, very safe and relaxing 4th of July Day holiday for you. If you are in the U.S., then I know you will be celebrating Independence Day. If you're outside of the U.S., well, have a super 4th of July. You know, it's still the 4th of July for you guys, even though you're outside of the U.S. So I can still say I hope you have a happy 4th of July. Of course, for my fellow Americans, it does take on just a little bit different meaning. But be safe. If you're going to be partaking in the fireworks and stuff like that, just remember that for those of you that are old enough to drink, fireworks and alcohol don't mix very well. And just be safe if you're out and about on lakes doing water sports and stuff like that. Also remember that alcohol and boats and jet skis and skis and stuff don't mix very well. Just be careful, be safe, take care of one another, and God bless you all. And I'll see you all very, very soon back here on Mountain Valley Farm. Take care. Bye bye.